Oh goody, this prick.
Well, folks, International Women's Day 2018. Just to share a few things with you folks. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a woman. There's no problem with that, obviously. And God made men and women.
After James said the sentence of, "There's nothing wrong with being a woman," he thought to himself, provided they stay at home and be subservient doormats to their husbands.
But I want to throw something out here, folks. When you look at the condition of society today, we've got a lot of problems.
You're right, James. We do have a lot of problems today. Unarmed black men getting gunned down by police officers, our society continuing to play defense attorney for rapists, our capitalist system working people to death, our fighting forces still fighting wars in the Middle East because our government continues to pander to neocons, the rights of LGBT people, particularly the rights of trans people, being under fire by the Trump administration, religious bigots like you not understanding the concept of separation of church and state. The list goes on and on. However, the problems you're about to present are non-issues.
Latchkey kids, their closest relationships are many times with other children in place of the parents, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 years old, being influenced by those people other than the parents.
Because children having friends is overrated. Listen, James, many children are much smarter than you give them credit for. I'm sure many of them are able to tell who's a good influence and who's a bad influence.
You've got some of their most of their time spent with the media. They're more influenced by movie stars, celebrity stars, sports stars, things like that.
Yeah, if I ever had a son or daughter, I'd rather them being influenced by someone like Emma Watson over being influenced by someone who A, watched Rock It's Your Decision too many times, and B, thinks the Klan had good ideas, especially after that video of James the Preacher in blackface where he slandered Martin Luther King Jr.
Folks, we have a problem in America. We have a lot of problems in America, and I'm glad I was raised in America and born in America, but one of the problems we have is moms not taking care of their children.
If any of you are surprised by what James just said, don't be. This thought process isn't new for him. Besides videos where he says a celebrity he hates who died recently is dead and in hell, telling women they should stay at home and be subservient doormats to their husbands is James's bread and butter. There was even a video 6 years back where he blamed the deaths of the Sandy Hook shooting victims on the mothers of the victims for not staying at home. And hell, literally the next video James put out after this one is him blaming the deaths of the Florida shooting victims on the mothers of the victims for not staying at home.
Moms would be a lot better off, get mad at me if you want to, staying at home and watching their children, being godly and raising their children for the Lord, obviously, but being careful of who their friends are, being careful of what music they're listening to, and so forth.
You're right, I am angry at you. Just not for the reasons you think. Which takes me to the main issue I had with James's video. If a woman wants to stay at home and take care of her children, that's fine. If a woman wants to have a career and make money to support her family, that's also fine. Also, there are women who can choose to both have a career and take care of their children. And I have a lot of love and respect for the women who choose to do both. The problem I have is that James doesn't want women to have that choice.
We have just, in America, that's been just totally forgotten. You go back to the 1950s, and a mom had common decency enough to be mindful of the influence upon her children. And she could do that when she stayed at home and was not in the workforce.
The 50s weren't a golden age. You had people being fired and blacklisted as a result of the second Red Scare, segregation, especially when it came to schools, lack of acceptance of LGBTQ plus people. Oh wait, that's exactly why this prick wants to go back to the 1950s. Trust me folks, if you take a much closer look at them, the golden days were actually far worse than people remember.
Today it's all worried about a career and how much money they make. Half these people spend more money or as much money on daycare as they do the pay that they're receiving. And those women that are involved in careers to the point of abandoning their children or close to that, has damaged our country tremendously, folks.
Yes, that's what's hurting our country. Not the fact that we put 8 wars on a credit card, or institutionalized oppressions that benefit from our capitalist system. Nope, what's really destroying America are women having careers and being educated. God forbid a woman stand up for herself and fight for what she believes is right.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's International Women's Day. Well, instead of celebrating the woman in the workforce, why don't we celebrate the woman who has enough character and discipline and care for her children to stay at home and care for her children and take care of the home and be there for her family and be there to answer questions when her children have questions and so forth. To guide them in the right way.
Why not celebrate both? I think women who go out and have careers and women who choose to stay home to take care of their children deserve to be celebrated.
So have at it, get upset if you want to. I'm not worried about popular opinion. There's a reason why God's book says keepers at home.
The Bible preaches a lot of stuff that modern Christians don't follow, such as Leviticus chapter 11 verse 9 through 11, stating you're not allowed to eat shellfish. Also, according to the Bible itself, particularly in Matthew chapter 22 verse 39, you're supposed to, be nice to people. Love your neighbor as yourself. I bring this up because, like many people in the Christian right, James spends most of his time telling groups of people that he hates that they're sinful and that they're going to hell. So much for love thy neighbor.
And even though you can't expect the world to adhere to that, the world used to understand that it was better for a mom to be at home to take care of the children. It was common sense, and we've thrown that down the toilet today in America.
Listen, James, America never followed the Bible to letter. If we did, we'd still be burning witches and stoning disobedient children. But I wouldn't expect you to understand the First Amendment of our Constitution. In another of your videos, you said you would make it a hate crime for anyone to speak out against Christianity if you became president. Overall, this video is more of the same from James the Preacher that I've seen debunked from both CuteFuzzyWeasel and the Lost Jojo time and time again. There's really nothing more for me to add. Every time he makes a video regarding women having careers, it's always the same from James. There's only so much I could add that hasn't already been said by everyone else. Until next time, I'm Danny Quartz. Thank you all for watching.